Hello, everyone. Welcome to another of our 12 minutos session here at Orvalle. My name is Miss Lora, and I'm a musicologist and I'm a teacher here at Orvalle School. So with these talks, what we are trying to do is to give you some hints and ideas on different aspects of the education of your children. So specifically, we are going to focus today on 2 to 5 years old. I hope you find it useful. I'm going to give you some ideas on nurturing musical sensibility and musical talent in your children. So if there are any questions at the end, of course, we will leave some time for questions. The power of music. I'm going to share my presentation here. Okay, so nurturing musical talent and sensibility. We were talking about the power of music. Music has an incredible possibility for development of, well, I think this session follows on nicely from the session of my two colleagues, Kova and Angelina, because they were talking about the English language and fostering creativity. And I think music can do both. And so it's a very nice topic to go on from. And the starting point is the same as with everything that has been said before. Children are like sponges. They absorb everything. So whatever you give them, they are going to take it and develop even further because of their imagination, their flexibility. Scientists talk about neuroplasticity in the brain, and that ability to regenerate and to create lots of connections. So music is key in all that process. Later on, also, we're going to talk about the Suzuki method, which is, well, it's one of many music methods, which I like because it tries to create the right environment for the young child to learn music. So, yeah, I would like you to come away with that idea of creating the right environment, creating an atmosphere where music is part of life. Music is part of family life, music is part of school, and to develop a taste of music as something enjoyable, something fun. Okay, so just specifically talking about toddlers and music. Toddlers love music, as you know, as parents. It's very important. Music can help them with their language and memorization of words. And we have to let children play with music. So tap instruments, even if it's just a homemade instrument, a drum, a triangle, whatever it is, to follow, to engage with the music they are listening to. And a little bit older, to 3, 4, 5 years old, they love singing. And the nice thing is that they are very fresh about it. They are not embarrassed. How can I say? They are not self-conscious about their ability to sing or to play or whatever. So it's very nice to encourage that as well. So how can music help my child develop? As you can see, there are so many points in which music can help. To start with, the sensory, motor, auditive skills, but also the intellectual development, as we have mentioned, memory, language skills. A 2016 study at the University of Southern California's Brain and Creative Institute found that musical experiences in childhood can actually accelerate brain development, particularly in the areas of language acquisition and reading skills. So you can see that this is something that will only strengthen your child's learning. Music ignites all areas of child development, including intellectual, even literacy, how they read. They can learn to read with music. They can learn to practice self-expression. Here in Orvalle, through the Indicus program in kindergarten and preschool, we use music as a tool for example, they are drawing, even if it's just something very little like coloring in. While they do it, they are listening to music. If we play music, you can see the difference between, the care is done with a lot more attention to details. So we see every day how music helps children, because it also stimulates their concentration. So I was talking to one of the teachers in the 3-year-old group, and she was saying how this term, for example, with autumn, they were looking at Vivaldi's Four Seasons violin concerto, and every day of the week they played the same piece of music, which was autumn, and they looked at the leaves and they imagined how they would the leaves would fall, and all of that. It was a wealth of experiences and sensory experiences, and they built upon them. Every day of the week they added a fact about a composer or an activity. So we're not talking here about what in the mid-90s was called the Mozart effect, which referred to, if my child listens to Mozart, then he's going to become clever. It's much more than that. And that's why I've included those 2 points at the end: exposure to beauty and transferable skills. So this is what I would really like to talk to you about in this very short time. Exposure to beauty, because music has the power to touch our inner feelings and emotions in a way that no other form of art is able to do. Music appreciation and musical training develop our musical talent, which we'll talk about in a minute. So Greek philosophers and mathematicians such as Plato and Pythagoras regarded music as the highest art form of art. And Aristotle, for example, had a strong belief that music should be part of one's education. Why is this? Why is music so good for us, for our soul, for education in virtue? I think it's because, well, you could argue many things, but beauty is one of the transcendentals, according to scholastic philosophers, together with unity, truth, and goodness. Music can make us happy, sad, nostalgic, fulfilled, secure. Music is the answer to many things, not the only answer, but a very, very important thing to consider. So as parents, when you are thinking about music appreciation, think about classical music too. The first thing is to listen to music, not just use music as something I've got in the background while I answer my WhatsApp messages or write emails. Music is to be appreciated, and sit down and listen to a powerful piece of music. I'm going to provide some resources at the end. And decide what you like. It's okay not to like certain composers or styles. Why classical music? Well, I would like to argue that it's part of our Western culture, and it's very important that we know it, but also it is very powerful, and it is say like one of the highest forms of music. You might like flamenco, you might like other kinds of music, and that's very good too, and nursery rhymes are good too for children, but we would like to foster this taste for what is classical and calms it down. For example, sleep time is a very good time. And my third point is that to attend or take part in educational concerts. We recently had in Orvalle an educational concert, and it's just amazing to see them enjoying it so much. I know I have to start closing this. It's so short. Anyway, developing musical talent. What is talent, you might ask? The Cambridge Dictionary defines talent as a special natural ability to do something well. While this is true, yeah, so you say a child is born with talent, it takes time and it takes experience, and perhaps that talent needs to be unlocked, which is what experts talk about, unlocking talent. And it's because you've exposed your child to music or a certain instrument that they then go on to learn that instrument to a better or lesser degree. So can my child learn music or learn a musical instrument? The answer is yes. He or she can. So how early should my child start learning an instrument? The age for learning an instrument formally varies very much according to the degree of maturity of the child. I've seen children enjoy music, formally learning an instrument at the age of 3. But I've also seen children at the age of 6 who cannot sit still in on a piano stool. So can my child learn? Yes, before the age of 7 preferably, but I think it's up to each one, each individual. In Orvalle, we use, as I mentioned before, the Suzuki method. It's good. I've just been told that it's questions time. So just to finish, I don't want to finish without saying the benefits of playing an instrument, which are these transferable skills that I talk about: discipline, commitment, care, or respect for the instrument. And there is, just to finish, promise, an educator called Anita Collins. She says that it talks about helping the child be comfortable with discomfort. So learning how to make mistakes. And I think that's a very, very good point when it comes to learning and the experience of learning. So here are some resources. Don't worry, this is all going to be in the on the website, and together with an article summarizing this session. Apologies for rushing the end. You always think of new things to say when you prepare this kind of talks, but please do look at these resources. Thank you. Yeah, one question here. Should I encourage my child to learn even if he doesn't show interest? I think definitely yes. The answer is yes. Perhaps not force. I mean, if the child says, I do not want to play the flute, it's not a question of forcing that, that in them. But if they don't show interest, it's because they don't know it. And the benefits are there are so many benefits to it that why not? And I didn't ask. Well, I personally, I'm a pianist too, and I didn't ask to play the piano. My mother just decided that I was going to play the piano, and I was introduced to it, and I'm so grateful to her. So yeah, I think it depends on the child, but I would strongly recommend learning an instrument. Well, if they're not, yeah, so we say goodbye. Thank you very much, and see you in the next 12 minutos, which will be in the new year. And look out for all the resources that we've prepared for you, because they could be a really good way of spending Christmas. So I wish you a very happy Christmas. Bye-bye.